Hello, this video is about Affordable Care Act Reporting Basics, filing forms 1095B and 1095C. I will cover the following topics in this video: the mandates that serve as the basis for ACA information reporting provisions, some important definitions, who needs to file, what, when, and how to file, and finally, associated penalties. There are two primary mandates that serve as the basis for the Affordable Care Act. The individual mandate states that each individual must have minimum essential health care coverage or qualify for an exemption or pay a penalty. The name of this penalty is the individual shared responsibility payment. The employer mandate states that employers with at least 50 full-time employees, including full-time equivalent employees, must offer minimum essential coverage that is affordable and provides minimum value to its full-time employees and their dependents. If at least one of its full-time employees receives a premium tax credit, the employer may be subject to a penalty. The name of this penalty is the employer shared responsibility payment. A premium tax credit is available to eligible individuals with low or moderate income to make minimum essential coverage more affordable through an exchange or marketplace. Before moving on, I think it is important to cover a few key terms relating to the Affordable Care Act. First, for ACA purposes, a full-time employee is one who is employed an average of at least 30 service hours per week or 130 service hours per month. A full-time equivalent employee is a combination of employees, each of whom is not treated as a full-time employee, but in combination are counted as the equivalent of a full-time employee. Lastly, an applicable large employer, or ALE, is an employer that employed an average of at least 50 full-time employees, including full-time equivalent employees, during the preceding calendar year. First, let's look at who needs to file. The first group of filers are applicable large employers. ALEs have a filing requirement to meet the provisions of the employer mandate. The second and third group of filers are self-insured employers and healthcare insurers. A self-insured employer means the employer has liability for all claims incurred and pays for each claim. For ACA purposes, a self-insured employer is actually the provider of the coverage. Providers have a filing requirement to meet the provisions of the individual mandate. Looking at the illustration on the right, if you are an employer, the two primary questions to be asked are, do you have at least 50 full-time employees, including full-time equivalent employees, in the preceding year, and are you self-insured? If the answer to both of these questions is yes, then you need to complete Form 1095C, Parts 1, 2, and 3. If you have at least 50 full-time employees, including full-time equivalent employees, in the preceding year, but are not self-insured, only complete Parts 1 and 2 of Form 1095C. If you don't have at least 50 full-time employees, including full-time equivalent employees, but you are self-insured, then complete Form 1095B, Parts 1, 3, and 4. Internal Revenue Code Sections 6055 and 6056 outline the requirements for Form 1095B and 1095C reporting, and I strongly encourage you to read these regulations. Next, I will talk about what to file. For each 1095, you will need to send one copy to the recipient or employee and another copy to the IRS. If you have 250 or more 1095s to file of one form type, you are required to file the 1095s to IRS electronically. There are three 1095 forms. Form 1095A is not covered in this video, but this is the form that is filed by the exchange to an individual who purchased coverage on the exchange. Form 1095B and its corresponding transmittal, Form 1094B, are filed by insurance providers and self-insured employers with less than 50 full-time employees, including full-time equivalent employees. Form 1095C and its corresponding transmittal, Form 1094C, are filed by applicable large employers. The deadlines for filing 1095 forms for tax year 2016 are as follows. January 31, 2017 is the due date to submit 1095s to employees and recipients. February 28, 2017 is the due date to submit 1095s to IRS on paper. And March 31, 2017 is the due date to submit 1095s to IRS electronically. As mentioned already, there are two filing methods allowed by IRS, paper and e-file. If you choose to file on paper, the copy that is sent to IRS must match the official landscape form. However, when providing recipient copies, a redesigned form is allowed. Greatland has actually created a few different designs for the 1095 forms so that they are compatible with window envelopes to make mailing the forms to the recipients much easier. Again, if you have more than 250 forms of one form type to file, you must file electronically. No matter what filing method you choose, Greatland has the products to meet your needs along with the people and experience to help you with your ACA reporting. In 2017, for reporting on calendar year 2016, employers and insurers are expected to be compliant with ACA reporting requirements. One of the biggest changes for tax year 2016 reporting is that the good faith effort clause no longer applies. For tax year 2015 reporting, IRS announced that it would not impose penalties on a filer for reporting incorrect or incomplete information if the filer could show that it made a good faith effort to comply with the information reporting requirements. Since this good faith effort is no longer applicable for tax year 2016, it is even more critical to understand and comply with the filing requirements to avoid potential penalties. Penalties do apply for failure to file, failure to furnish recipient statements, failure to file on time, and failure to file electronically when required to do so. Also, the employer shared responsibility payments are in effect as well. Greatland's staff of specially trained account managers are standing by to provide you with excellent ACA reporting information. Thank you.